It's time for the Voice of Reason podcast. Here are your hosts, Sean Phillips, Andy Van Beber, and Travis Kirkendall.
And ladies and gentlemen, it is a new year, new us, new show, new everything. Everything is new. Welcome. New year, new me. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Voice of Reason podcast. My name is Sean Phillips. As always, I am joined alongside my two co-hosts, Mr. Andrew. Yes, Andrew Van Beber, Travis Kirkendall. Gentlemen, it is a new year.
2024.
How do you feel now that you have taken, we have officially done a trip around the sun? How are we feeling?
My honest opinion, I have to do this just once. There you go.
Yes.
Just for the.
I was wondering when you were going to break that out.
I had to. I have.
Well, I didn't last long.
No. Thank you to my beautiful wife for getting this for me for Christmas. Yep. No, I tell you what, isn't it amazing that how it just anymore it just goes so fast. It's amazing.
It's honestly scary. I tell you what, man, like I was telling Vicky, my family was in town for the new year, my mom, my dad, and two of my nieces. And at where we live at this apartment complex, there's a movie theater that you can like reserve. It's a full size movie theater with about 13 recliner seats, projector, surround sound. It's really nice. You can hook up whatever movie you want to it. And so we reserved it. We watched a movie the other day, and while we were there was like this other family there's like a lounge area, and they were kind of doing some stuff there, and they had kids, and I was talking to them while I was making, our popcorn. And the first kid I looked at, like I saw how little he was. Like he was little. And I was like, well, how old are you, man? Like, what grade are you in? And he's like, I'm in fourth grade. And I was just like, so taken aback because, I moved to Missouri in fourth grade. I have so many memories of, being that old and meeting so many of the friends that I have now. And what's crazy is I'm like, I don't remember ever being that size. Like, that's what I looked like at that time. And here I am, older than I've ever been so far. So it was just kind of like it is flying by. The time really is. It's crazy.
Well, I'll say this to you guys as new dads and everything. I look at it this way. I've got 6 more Christmases with my son until he graduates, and 5 more with my daughter until she graduates. And it's to me, when you look at time in that aspect, it really does just freaking blow your mind. And just the time that you're given with your kids, I mean, it's a gift, but it just I love Christmas just for the fact, I don't care if I get anything. I just love watching my kids open, just watching my kids' face at Christmas time is just magic. How was your kids' first Christmas?
Go ahead, Sean. Talk about your kids.
No, they were good. Julian had
I was gonna say, this
a
is
great
jam.
time. Like I said, we were at my parents for Christmas. So Santa, we did the letters to Santa. Santa, didn't forget where we were. Lillian got, she was happy, got more crap to play with. Basically just more things for me to trip over.
Yep.
But no, it was really nice. And this year, my brother-in-law, his parents, they finally have kicked out, all the kids have graduated and are out of the house in their books. So they actually would normally spend a lot more time with them on Christmas, but the two of them actually dipped out. They went to Florida for the week. They said, we're taking an adult vacation.
I saw their story.
For no kids, no grandkids. They went away. And so we all hung out. We actually went and saw that new migration movie, an Illumination film about, the ducks that are migrating. Yep. And it was really good. It was actually really funny. So no, it was a great Christmas. It was a really good time.
Travis, what about Thomas's first Christmas?
It was pretty. We had a really good time. So obviously Thomas is way too young to remember anything, but of course we dressed him up and had a lot of fun with him. And we went to her cousins, and they have a God, how old is Stefano? 5 years old, 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So he's old enough now that like Christmas is a big deal. And so the girls took him upstairs, and then me and Pepe, we took like boots because there was no snow yet. So we took boots into the mud when we were outside smoking cigars, and we went back inside and put like boot prints going up into the tree and stuff. And then like go upstairs. It's the cutest thing, man. Like they're all in the bedroom, and Stefano's like standing on the window, still like looking out the window, like waiting for Santa. And they're like, I'm like, did you hear that? Did you guys hear that? Something's downstairs. And it was cool, man. It's cool to see like how magical Christmas is for kids at that age. Like it's
awesome.
And being able to like do little stuff like that, like you're literally making magic happen for the kid, So that was fun. That was a lot of fun to see him happy, and it was just a great time. We had a lot of fun. I can't wait to do stuff like that for Thomas.
Awesome. Any special gifts that you gentlemen received that you really enjoyed or anything?
Or maybe this is corny, but my gift was 100% my son in November. Yeah. That was an early Christmas present for me.
You're
right. Nothing tops that. And I guess having her family here was a
great
blessing too. I mean, you guys were following that whole situation and knew like that was just a shit show.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were the gifts for me to see all that happen.
Yeah, we kept it. I mean, like we've talked about on the show and everything. It's been the transition back from California to Missouri has been a lot, not just emotionally, financially, everything. So we kind of we kept it on the low this year, but it was really, really nice to get to spend time with family. Last year we were in California for Christmas, and I'm with Travis on this one, just getting to see Lillian do the things that she's doing now that she's a little bit older. It was really nice because the day after Christmas is Tony's birthday, so we went out to dinner, and then we went to the casino for shits and giggles. We went through $20 really quick.
I was going to say, how much did you donate?
You should have went through $60 there, buddy.
Well, there, bud. I'll tell you this though.
Oh,
I some of our friends that went with us. So shout out to my brother Colin Dugan. Lost about $150 in a span of 40 minutes. But what's crazy is Travis and I we were addicted to a show called Trailer Park Boys, and there's a character on there. His name is Ray, and he's obsessed with the VLTs.
That's the $60 reference.
The lottery, the lottery machines. So the VLTs. No joke. We went upstairs. We were just kind of peeking fun at the penny slots. I'm not making this up. So, the games tells, like, if you look at the screen, it tells you how many credits you have in.
Mm-hmm.
The credit might have been a penny, like at a time, but I saw a woman on one of those penny slot machines just constantly pressing bet like this, and it showed that she had well over 20,000 credits loaded into this machine, and she's just ripping through them, pressing buttons. I had to have been like in her 60s, and I was just like,
all you're missing.
I was like,
is that what we had to look forward to in retirement?
No, man. Everything's done in credits.
Social Security money.
Everything's done in credits, though. I mean, when last time, and it's been 15 years since Janine and I went to Vegas. We went down to Old Vegas. I gambled at, so we went to the the Flamingo down there in Old Vegas, and there's still women walking around with like the popcorn, the popcorn buckets, looking like things, and all you just see are these women just wandering around, and they're just. There was a Friends episode, they called them lurkers, and I mean you'd hit a slot machine, and they still had penny nickel dime slots down there. Okay, this is 15 years ago, And I went berserk though. I forgot what I was hitting, like a nickel slot, and I was like, jackpot, ding 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 ding. I was like, oh Janine, I won. And she walked over and she looked at me and she said, congratulations, you won $3. You know, it's just like all these nickels pouring out of there, and I thought I was just like, I'd hit it big, you know. But yeah, now it's just like all the credits, and now you have slot machines in practically every gas station you go to, and the magic's gone.
I've seen that at Fastlane. You know, now the Aniolia, they've got the VLTs lined up, and
Well,
it's pretty impressive
they're
if I say so myself.
well,
Dude, like every gas station up here is a damn game lounge.
well, it's like, and all that money goes to education. If you believe that,
No,
I'll sell you some
I'll-
property.
I'll never forget. There's a
Sure,
nightclub
it
on the
does.
East St. Louis side, on the Illinois side of the river, called Pops, and they like smaller music artists will play there. It's
Yeah, I've heard
decent
of
enough
Pops.
little concert venue. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to a concert out there once, and right next to Pops is a gas station, like looks like a shithole, it's like a Sinclair. And we pop inside, and I just hear this yelling, and I look around the corner, and I go around, and there's a room. Okay, it's a whole room. It's probably size of like your classroom, V.
Mm-hmm.
But the entire walls, I'm telling you, there's not an inch of wall space. They're covered in these like flat screen TVs, and on all of these TVs, they have horse races going on.
Oh man!
And there was
Pari-mutuel
a
betting.
guy. There was a guy that had a little shelf just sitting there, a little desk, and he was sitting behind it. He's like, "You guys have any bets you want to place?" And mind you, there's chairs everywhere. People are yelling, they're screaming. So I was like, "What is this place?" And they're like, "There's horse races." I was like, "Where are these at?" And they're like, "I don't know, but you could bet on them." And they're like, "Somewhere in the world, at any given time, 24 hours a day, there's a horse race somewhere, and we're here to bet
Fucking
on it."
awesome.
And I
Come
was
on.
like, "Holy shit!" And he wasn't lying. Like, you just looked around, and if like they would all crowd one TV, and then they'd go walk over to another TV, and this guy's just switching to where all these different, like one was in like Afghanistan, there was another like in some other African country, like they're all over, and they're like, somewhere out there someone's having a horse race, and we're gonna bet on it. And like some of them were like decent film quality, other was just looked like they FaceTimed with a guy, and the guy's just like holding his phone up, like it was ridiculous.
Man, I forgot about pari-mutuel betting and being legal in Illinois. It's not. Of course, there's hardly. I think it's ironic in Missouri that there is no. You can go to every gas station and hit a slot machine, but you can't do the online sports betting in Missouri. I think that's like.
I don't know why it lost this year.
That's so
I don't
dumb.
get
That's so
why
dumb.
why it failed, because it's
I'd like to
crazy
ask,
stupid to me.
I'd like to ask an official, like, what was the pushback for it? Like, what was the reasoning? Like, give me a valid reason on your. Yeah, I'd like to know that.
Well,
We have weed.
Ask old
Wait.
Chad Perkins why it didn't go through.
you got weed, get the slot machines.
Could you imagine? Yeah, if you could have weed and sports betting, Hank Owens wouldn't leave his couch for the rest of his life. He would just turn to his fiance and he'd say, "Babe, this is what I do for work now."
Oh my
And,
gosh! That's. So.
I can't wait. He's a sports bettor? I didn't know he was into it. Is he like
when he lived? No, he's not.
per or something crazy?
He's not quite on the Drake level yet. But no, he
He's not on the Drake level yet.
because he used to live on the Kansas side, and it's been legal in Kansas. Sports betting been legal in Kansas, so it was funny for a lot of people. I could drive 5 minutes to the Kansas side and technically place a sports bet, and then hop back over to Missouri if I really wanted to. But I don't care quite that much about it yet. But I'm just, it's crazy to me that it's not on, because with everything, with as well as the Chiefs have done in the last couple of years.
Wink, wink.
With success like that, you would think that there would be more sports betting. But again, this is a different conversation for a different day. But after that Lions and Cowboys game, I am pretty sure that
it's got to be
people are going to use that as the main argument for sports betting against sports betting for a long time.
That had been the most fixed game I watched Rex Ryan the next morning on Get Up on ESPN. Rex Ryan, who used to be the coach for the Jets and I forgot where all he coached at, but Rex Ryan went off on those refs. He flat went off, and he was like, you had your guys who reported, that they were eligible receivers to the ref, and then they make the 2 point conversion, and then they call ineligible receivers, and he's just like, this is the biggest, I never saw a man. He wanted to swear so bad about how botched up the end of that game was, and I mean, hats off to the Lions. I thought they put on one heck of a fight coming back, and I thought that was going to be a great finish to a great game.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, for those that didn't watch the game, quite literally, like V just said, a player told the referees, "Hey, I'm the eligible receiver." There's footage of it. There's footage of the referee nodding at him as like they are having the conversation. He catches the 2 point conversion, would have put the Lions ahead. But then after the touchdown, a penalty was called. They called him an ineligible receiver, and it solely just boiled down to they were confused. Like because the refs got confused, it quite literally cost the Lions that play. And then the Lions being the Lions. I love Dan Campbell, but at that point, go for one, go for the tie. So, but quite literally changed the outcome of the game because the refs got confused, and that's what we have.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the referee who blew the. I mean, I've read some stuff. The referee that referee is one of the better ranked referees in the NFL. That's what I don't get. Because
anybody can get paid off.
Well, I'm just like, how do you? That was, but yeah, but I do want to mention a few things before we get really into. We don't really have a set topic, but we do want to talk about a few things. Our year-end wrap-up. We want to first of all give our hats off to all of you, our viewers and listeners. We saw a 26% growth in viewership, listenership this year, which is great. We had a lot of new listeners. According to Facebook, our top 5, I don't know if I get in trouble for mentioning top 5 fans, but top 5 fans was Colby Coleman, was our buddy Colby, Jonathan Guthrie, who is new to the podcast this year, who started listening, and of course, our friend and guest who's on all the time, Alex Ellison, is in the top 5. And then a couple of your buddies, the Lintons and the Leaks. So round out the top 5. So thanks to our friends who support us and our new listeners who support us. But our top episode was actually the end of season 2, which we did in February. Season 2, episode 50. So, yeah. So, and then top 10 topics that we'll touch a little bit on and just kind of give a look back at. So, but I guess I can start in on that right now. Just so some of the things in number 10 most watched topic that we had was on the Titanic ship, the Titan, sinking, Ocean Gate Titan. And Sean pointed out that that's hard. That's been 6 months ago, but I haven't heard anything more that has come out about that or anything. They did find the remain. They did find some of the remains. I did hear that they had found some of the remains, and that pretty much just
of the ship or the people, because I heard that people got turned into smuggers.
Well, they found of the ship they found remains of the ship. They didn't. I wouldn't think that there would be anything with that kind of pressure, but that was one of our big topics. Hard to believe that some of the decisions that some of the stuff that came out with the Supreme Court had a lot of huge. We did an episode on Supreme Court and the impact of the abortion laws and all of that stuff. That was number 9. Number 8 was an episode we did on Joe Biden and gas prices. We always have to get that in there. Number 7 was the episode that I think it was just Travis and I that I don't know if you were in on this episode or not, Sean. We did that episode on what's called kleptocracy, basically using of government jobs for personal gain. I don't know if you were in on that episode or not, but Travis, I don't know if you remembered that one or not. But we had that was
I remember vaguely.
Number, let's see. So what do we have? 6. We did a few weeks ago about good old George Santos, and how was the mess that he was. Number 5 was the labor union dispute, talking about the labor unions, the UAW, which thankfully they were able to get that worked out. I did talk to one of Briley's friends' parents, though, that the UAW or that the plant in Wentzville is laying off come February, though, which is not good. Let's see. Number 4, and with that too, we also talked about the student debt crisis was in that same episode. Number 4 was the firing of Tucker Carlson, and talking about him, sunbathing his nuts and everything like that. Number 3 was the Richmond north of Richmond. That was I can't even remember that guy's name now, what that artist was, but the phenomenon behind that. Let's see, where did I leave off at? I messed something up there. Anyway, but our top episode of the year, like I said, or number 2, here it is, number 2. When we had Rob, and this may, for those of you who know Robin Anderson, we had Robin Anderson on as a guest, and we talked about the failure of Disney and Marvel and where Marvel's going, and that kind of proved to be true, I think, with the failure of Marvel movies this year. But the number 1 episode was season 2, episode 50. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. And again, talking about politicians and the like. So we were very happy with this season. We still got a few episodes left to go for this season yet, but getting close on season 3 coming to a close. So, but thank you all for that, and thanks to our friends over at Spotify who put that nice little list together for us and the year wrap up. Spotify is a great distributor of our podcast. It goes out to many countries, many listeners, and we appreciate
Spotify them. Is the GOAT.
They are the GOAT. So, yeah.
Had them since 2014, 2015. I won't use anything else.
Yeah, you guys are more into Spotify than I am, and I'm an Apple Music guy, but Spotify has, when it comes to podcasts, Spotify has just the interface that they offer for their podcast. If you haven't listened on Spotify and you're looking for new podcasts other than ourselves, of course, Spotify's format for finding new podcasts and how you can find what you're interested in.
Oh, their algorithm's amazing.
Their algorithms
for music,
do a
oh my
great
god,
job.
The amount of new bands and music I've discovered because of Spotify, yeah, they're the GOAT.
Yep. But yeah, so that was that. And another topic I want to talk about, we kind of discussed a little bit, and then we'll get into New Year's resolutions and all that other thing. But a short story came up to me from a friend of mine who shared about one of her friends. This happened in Warrensburg on Tuesday. This is the day after Christmas. I'd say she's in her 30s, but this is a young lady from Warrensburg. Her name is Nina Shell. She's a realtor. Her and her husband do a rental business. She's a photographer. She was arrested on a misdemeanor charge of shoplifting at Walmart for basically $26. And what she was accused of stealing was, we said, a case of bubble water, a pork chop, and a salmon fillet. Now, this occurred, just to give you a little bit of a background, and then I'll read this lady's story. This happened, I guess her family hadn't come over. They were going to have a big family get together and all this stuff. and she was buying groceries, and she had already had over $300 of groceries in her cart. Now she's getting ready to leave. She's approached by a Walmart official. So this is actually, I'll read, this is from her post, and then just kind of little discussion, not a major story, but I figured for New Year's it would be a nice, light little discussion. But she says, she starts out her, she says, do not support Walmart. Listen, I always stood up for Walmart. It's a big corporation, blah, 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 but whatever. I've always known good people who work there, who are wonderful people, and everyone needs jobs, so that's my internal counter argument. Good people work there, so if I have to go. Typically, I support Hy-Vee or Aldi, but if I have to get something random in groceries, Walmart it is. Today, December 26th, I even thought to myself, ugh, do I even have the mental capacity for self-checkout? I had 10,000 things on my mind, but I needed to get her son Everett a replacement Xbox gift card or groceries, so I went to my local Walmart here in Warrensburg, Missouri. My friends, my loves, I have not stopped crying for 5 hours. I just had an experience which was so traumatic, so incredibly demeaning, I don't even know how to express it. I feel drained to my core, and I'm also so embarrassed. But it's Walmart, and they own the country, so I can't sue them, so I want people to know. Let's talk about self-checkouts. Lost my place there. Hold on a second. I despise self-checkouts. Like many of you, I completely agree that it's ridiculous to make us work for the company for free to receive our goods. I'm also a self-proclaimed space cadet. If there's something important, I will hyper-focus. But if my brain has decided that the current task at hand is not important, well, goodbye attention span. It's moved on to a conversation about 10,000 other things. And today my mind was on 10,000 things. So I had a cart of $320 worth of groceries. It was a giant cart. We have 5 boys and they like to eat a lot. And the other reason I hate self-checkouts is because I don't like mixing bags and it freaks me out and I get confused. So what I have and haven't scanned. Always. And anyways, also the bags today kept ripping. So I was moving things because I didn't want meat juice on my cheeses, etc., switching bags. So as I said, my cart had $300 plus. I had paid and was about to be walking out. And before I could get to the exit, I was stopped by an incredibly intense, very young man telling me, "We know about your stolen items. Come with me." Excuse me, I say, completely offended and baffled. "We know about your stolen items. Come to the office with me." So I'm at first thinking, all right, I'm being stereotyped because of my tattoos. And this woman has tattoo sleeves. But they made a mistake and think I'm someone else, and we'll get this sorted out. This happens. I'm like, fine, I play along. It's like the airport, don't fight it. So we get back to the back office, and he's like pulling my cart apart, and I'm like, okay, well, I did pay for all that, so if you could stop throwing it, it would be nice. I don't know what you think I stole, but I promise I'm not a thief, and I'm kind of in a hurry. Can we please scoot this thing along? And he pulls the bubble water out of the bottom, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I realized I made a mistake. I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed. I did miss the bubble water. And he looked up at me with pure hatred in his eyes, and I'm so like I'm some disgusting criminal. And he's like, that's not the only item you missed. At this point, I became so shocked and have no idea what's happening, but was like, okay, what did I miss? I'm so sorry. Thinking about what I had bought. Still trying to be nice because I don't want to be that person because I feel like they deal with a lot. So I say I'm sorry. The machine was being weird, and I'd even asked the lady to come help me several times because it wasn't scanning things. He stared at me like I was some kind of monster thief. I was like, sir, I don't know what you think I did. I admit I missed a bubble water, and I'm very sorry. What do I owe for the bubble water? And this gentleman stares me down just like he caught Frank Abagnale Jr. from Catch Me If You Can. And he's like, well, you passed this pork chop with 3 other pork chops, but this one didn't scan, and this smoked salmon. So we're talking about a case of bubble water, a pork chop, and a smoked salmon. And I was like, not trying to be, next page. Oh, so... I'm sorry, I lost my place there.
Ridiculous.
I did not scan them, but I did. Oh no, I read that too. Okay, so he leaves. He says She says I bought $320 worth of grocery. I wasn't trying to steal bubble water and a smoked salmon fillet. He leaves and is gone for 10 minutes and comes back. I sit there waiting, holding my credit card, and he comes back and no one will talk to me. I am like, excuse me, what is happening? And one of the other nicer guys tells me he's really sorry, but the total was $26, and it's Walmart's policy that if you go over $25, they don't care. You get arrested, they call the police. And so she's arrested. They don't care if it's a mistake scan issue. They refused my money, wouldn't let me pay for the items, and called the police and had me arrested. In handcuffs. I was handcuffed, confused, crying, walked out of Walmart, mortified, and put in the back of a police car. And so out of her $320 worth of groceries, they arrested her for $26. I know that was long.
Justice was served. Yay!
Justice is served,
bullshit.
but we have
Bullshit.
and I think we're going to get into this topic a little bit next week. We've all watched. We all three of us have watched this podcast this week about the Trump indictments and everything. But when you think about the level of crime that is going on out in the community today, and Walmart is stoked over $26, 3 items, and the woman paid $320 worth of groceries. And what's wrong with the world? What am I missing?
But what
here?
about? I know a different store, but what about the people that broke into Foot Locker and stole like $500 in Jordans?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or like
Or all
the
these
people that were like breaking into Walgreens and like this taking whatever they wanted up to like a certain dollar amount.
Well, we've seen like all, in the past 2 years, all these riots and stuff we've covered, and just the looting that's caught on camera. You've got camera video that's plastered all over social media, and you've got the face recognition on Facebook, and people can see and they know who's who and who's what. And
I don't even want to do the comparison. I just like $26, $1 over. This could have been handled at such a lower level. Like, hey, it's cool. Like,
she had her credit.
just pay it. And we're good. Like did he really have to follow protocol? Like, how strict is Walmart that they're overseeing that? Like, did he really have to be a company man and go through that whole process, or it could have been like, hey, just pay it and you're good. We're good. Like
the day after Christmas, too. The day after Christmas. The day after Christmas. Walmart is, I understand, and we all have friends who either are cashiers or who are stock boys or cart boys or whatever. And
what was that woman's name? The 10-year associate signing out? Dale Lewis or something? Or Gail Lewis?
Yeah. I'm just
a veteran. I'm sorry, that's off topic, but that made me think of that.
When you think of Walmart, I understand they lose. I would hate to see what they call that stop loss, or what their loss is that they face every year. I'm sure it's probably in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars that they lose every year. But $26, And if you notice, I was actually at a self-checkout today. I was getting groceries, and I had forgotten. I usually have them do the, take it to your car thing. But I was like, crap, we didn't get any pizzas or pizza rolls for the kids. And I walk inside, and I was thinking about that story, and then I kind of looked up, and so they've got like one of those little fisheye cameras that are right over the checkout.
Mm-hmm.
And
every one of them has it.
Well, so I mean, this is what confuses me. So if Walmart's trying to save the bottom dollar by, okay, we want to cut back on cashiers so we can do these self-checkouts so we can save some money, but yet at the same time now we've got people back in our security room who are watching which I'm sure they have security guys whose job it is to watch every self-checkout and watch every item go through. And,
Well, and part of it is AI too, because we were at Walmart last week, and we bought, so the end of our checkouts, we did self-checkout, we paid for everything. And then the last 2 items we had were baby clothes. And we scanned one and we scanned another. And then like a notification came up at the end of the thing, and this guy came over, and again, like, very different situation than, this past one, but even he was like being like, looked at us and was like staring at us like we were doing something fishy, when like it replayed a video on the screen. It was like possible item missed, and you just see Tony scanning the clothes. Like, she scans it and puts it in the bag, like scans it, puts it in the bag, and it pops up on the screen like clearly did it, but he was just like staring at it and like was checking the name, like doing all this stuff, looking over again, because like the camera, for whatever reason, thought that we either had something underneath. I don't know, like whatever it thought, but it was just like, AI or something that, they have sensors for. But it is silly to me, because I don't want to, how do I put it? But good and damn well that, like, if this guy, the guy that got all snippy and all hard with her, if it would have been like 6'4", construction worker, that this was the same situation, he wouldn't have gone up to him the same way of like, like, you fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you clearly stole. You clearly stole.
Yeah.
Like, this is a clear example of like, some
Power
guy, some dude on a power trip, because, he thinks he's the fucking head honcho of the Warrensburg Walmart, so he gets to just crack down on this woman that's, paying for groceries. And my thing too is like, if she put, if she scanned a Milky Way and then put a pork chop, a salmon, and a bubble water in her bag, no shit, like, no shit, she's stealing. But like, she just paid for over $300 worth of stuff. And anyone can steal, but I'm saying, like, if she just spent over $300, you think the $26 is going to be, and like, mind you, the guy even said too, like, you scanned 3 of them, and you tried to scan this 4th pork chop, but it didn't pick it up. Like, according to her, like, he's saying like, sorry that she's going blip, blip, blip. Missed the 4th blip as she scanned another shit. Like, you just said that on video it shows her attempt to do it, but it didn't pick it up. So it's like, all right, so let's call that one a wash. Well, then we're still under 25. Then we'd be under the $25 here if we say that the pork chop was an accident,
you're taking,
like he said it was.
Yeah, for
you're
sure.
taking 4 pork chops and stealing the 5th one.
Goes back to my point that this could have been handled at such a lower level. This was escalated for no reason. Like,
Buddy fucker, Blue Falcon.
What's sad is, like, Walmart probably won't even talk about this. They probably won't even mention it.
And it's stories like that. If I have, and I always, there's sometimes, like I said, we'll order our groceries ahead, and then there's sometimes when I just tell my wife, hey, I'll go get, I'll take, and I mean, I'll load a cart up. I'll have a $500 cart in no time, because we buy for half a month, but if I know I have over $100, I will not go through a self checkout. This is before this even happened. I just, I'm going to go through, and I apologize to the people. Oh no, this helps. And they're like, this helps my shift go a lot faster, and to me, it's in a bigger picture. I think that customer service overall in retail has reached a new low in some of these stores. Now, if like you mentioned Target a while ago when we were talking before the show, Sean, I'll go to a Target because when you go to a Target, I mean, those people, it's like they take a little bit more pride in what they're doing. You go to a Kohl's, it's the same thing. But you go to a Walmart, it's like, okay, well,
the culture there's a little different.
Yeah, well,
a big one. You're right. Is look at Sam's Club versus Costco employees is like a big one. Like, Costco is consistently rated as one of the best places to work on earth. Like, they pay extremely well. They treat their employees very well. There's a ton of very good benefits for employees. The retirement, like, what's nice about Costco is you could be in the same position for 20 years, but then you could be making 6 figures, like as a cashier at Costco, because they give you a raise every single year. Sam's Club, I've been to some pretty shitty Sam's Clubs, like, and Walmart Corporation. So, which is why I enjoyed that I live next to a Costco now because I prefer Costco over Sam's Club. But
I've never been to a Costco, so I need to go check these out.
yeah, virtually they're pretty much the same thing, just a lot more smiles.
Mm-hmm.
Better experience at Costco.
Well,
Yeah.
see, and I'll go one, and
That's why I go to Trader. Everyone's always nice. You don't have to worry about the self checkout. Like it's just
I'll do you
it's
guys
a way different experience than like you say going to a Walmart or something.
one business that and this will date me, and I mean, you guys might remember this, you might not, but Kmart, okay.
Oh, I love Kmart. I miss Kmart.
Kmart went the way of Walmart, and it just on the last few years of Kmart just were shameful because of people.
Kmart was worse than Walmart by far.
Yeah,
that's saying something.
But I mean, back when I was a kid, this is gonna because every time I see one of these on Remember When videos or Remember When clips. Kmart had these cafeterias, and we would go and eat at these cafeterias at Walmart. That was like the big night out for our family. Of course, my dad could buy a meal for us and 4 boys for under $10. Okay, but yeah, but again, you're talking back in the late 70s. Okay, but when the 90s came around, early 90s, Kmart just took just like a nosedive and just went the way of what Walmart is now, and just, crap always in the aisle and crowded, and just the setup and the experience people had with Kmart. And they just, we're going to go to Walmart. And now, Walmart was, when they started opening their super centers, that became the big deal. And, just that term, super center. If you remember the Walmart, did you guys ever go to the Walmart when it was here in Louisiana?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You walked into the front of the store. You were at the back of the store practically. I mean, it was tiny.
Yeah, I remember Walmarts before they were super centers. Yeah, it was way different.
The smallest Walmart that is in the United States today is in Cuba, Missouri. And I only know this because I was there.
How long until that becomes a super center?
Well, but it had, and I remember specifically, it had 4 checkout lanes, and it was about, Louisiana had that, and then Louisiana but Louisiana was so tiny with their Walmart, and when they built that super center over at Bowling Green, but it's not, to me, if you're going to open a corporation, or if you're going to open a business and you want a successful business, I don't know who the guy who does Virgin Atlantic. I can't think of that guy's name. Richard. But
Mad? No,
the guy
brain fart. Never mind.
But he's quoted as saying in the past, if you want a good business, you want happy customers, take care of your workers. Take care of your workers. Take care of your workers. They'll take care of your customers. That's why, like you guys said, I can just imagine going into a Costco, never being in one, but I can just imagine why. It's like if you go to a Chick-fil-A. I mean, Chick-fil-A takes care of their people. I've given, I'm not over exaggerating. I say I've given hundreds of Chick-fil-A people rides to work, and I've talked to a bunch of them, and they're like, they take care of their people. You go into Chick-fil-A, it's like a well-oiled machine. If you wait longer in line than 15 minutes at a Chick-fil-A, there's something wrong. They take care of their people. But Walmart, there's probably some fantastic Walmarts out there, but these other ones, who knows? So,
no, it's actually funny. I did a report on it was like the death of Kmart, basically, for one of my business classes, and it really boiled down to like the big 3. Obviously, were you had Target, you had Kmart, you had Walmart, and what killed Kmart was that they never really figured it out, like what was their thing going to be. So like Target, the people that ran Target specifically said, we are going to make the most aesthetically pleasing department store that one can. Like you are going to walk into our store and we want it to feel classier than any of the other stores that you're in. So they changed their shelving. Yes. And then what they did was they also quite literally said people would be willing to pay a little bit more for our goods than they would at other stores just for the aesthetic appeal. And that is a true fact.
True.
Walmart's was like, we want to be able to carry everything to a point. So we're like, where Kmart failed was quite literally like, you could go to Kmart and buy a washer and dryer,
yes.
and it would be right next to a stack of towels.
Yes.
And people would be like, what the fuck is this? Like,
yes.
there was no rhyme or reason for where things were. Walmart was, we're going to make it as cheap and strategically place everything where we need to. Kmart was just like, they'll figure it out. And that was eventually what led to the and again they weren't pretty. They didn't look good. You went in there just like Walmart. They had the big fluorescent light bulbs that were a pain, but at least Walmart has the blue to kind of dim it out, whereas Kmart just would randomly slap the big orange K every now and then, and you'd be blinded. I remember as a kid, I didn't have a Game Boy growing up, but I could walk to a Kmart. It was close enough where I lived when I lived in Iowa. So I would walk to Kmart and I would play. They had a Pokemon game, Pokemon Fire Red version, and I would play Pokemon Fire Red right there for hours, and then I'd go home. It was how I got my fix before I got my first Game Boy Advance.
That is classic. Well, there at the end, Sears had bought out Kmart. Sears bought out.
They did,
and that was
but at that point, that was like trying to buy a room on the Titanic as it's mid-sink.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, but then Sears went out themselves though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Partially because of that buy.
Yes.
Which fun fact, I live like 10, 15 minutes from the old Sears headquarters.
Yeah, because Sears, it was
It's massive.
Right,
it
was headquartered
massive.
there in Chicago. Yeah, and I mean,
it's just a ghost town now. It's this ginormous building facility, like the whole compound, completely vacated.
Wow.
It's kind of wild to see, actually.
Man. So.
Well, before we run out of time, because we've got 12 minutes before we hit our hour point there, V.
Yeah. So let's talk some resolutions. We did this last year, and I obviously failed again, but.
It happens.
It happens.
Do you have a boo? Do you have a boo sound effect? Is there?
Yeah, actually, yeah. There you go, right there. So
Bastard.
So, I'll start just by saying that I've reached the point now. In all seriousness, I've reached the point with my weight. I'm the biggest that I've been in my life. My knees are getting to the point where I have problem with my knees, and I have made the decision that I have to I have to get back. It was actually 4 years ago. Where I was at 4 years ago, I was in the best shape of my life. I was running 4 miles a day. I'd gotten down to 285. My goal was 275. Never did make my goal, but I made it down to 285, and it's one of those frustrating things, when you have the gene, and I'm not blaming everything on my genetics, but Van Bebbers are big people. We're big people, but my goal is to, even if it's 10 pounds, I don't care. I'm not going to set a per se goal. I'm doing my best to eat. Will do my best to eat better and watch what I eat, how much I eat, get back into the gym and, do my best. And, of course, the other thing is continue my quest into getting deeper into the Word, into the Bible, and doing more study. And so those are my two things. That's where I'm kind of at right now.
Those are good. Those are good ones.
What about you, boys?
Take it away, Sean.
Well, so this year I'm with you, V. I've got some fitness goals that I want to accomplish. Definitely the last couple of months, I've actually put on my fair share of dad weight with, everything. I wish I could say, like, for me, I don't have any good excuses. It was a real challenge from where we lived when we were in California. The closest gym that we could afford, at some points could be a 2 hour round trip before you even got to working out, even though it was 2.3 miles away. That's just how busy it got on the strip where it was. But our apartment was just really small, and working out from home made things difficult. So, but I'm actually, one of the things that I'm going to be doing, because I start officer candidate school, which is just going to be a ton of running.
Yeah, have fun with that.
Up here in February. I actually found out. So I'm a big proponent. I love follow along workouts. So like, think of your P90X, of like, you put it on, someone kind of tells you what to do, you just kind of do it. What I found out is, so I actually enjoy the treadmill in little increments. I don't love it, but I enjoy rowing, and I also enjoy the spin bike a lot. Apple Fitness Plus,
yes,
has a free trial right now, free for 30 days, and then it's, they have a bunch of different deals that you can get. But they actually have follow along almost daily. They upload rowing workouts where you just put it on, and what's nice is, because it's Apple, they have deals with artists, so there's, they can play music, not just house club music that they might have on like the P90X, or like you might find on a follow along on YouTube. So they've got good spin workouts, they've got row workouts I'm going to do. They also have treadmill workouts, weightlifting workouts. But some of the other goals, I finish up my project management certification. There's a lot of business goals that I have this year. I've been cooking up a couple of things behind the scenes, and there's a pretty big one that I feel like, working on it this year and really kind of busting it out, actually in 25. So there's going to be a lot of work that will go in, but like UV, I'm actually staring at I've got my 1 year Bible, which is actually a really cool.
Yes, your mom gave me one of
Bible
those too.
that,
yes,
yeah, breaks down. So today is January 1st, so I actually get to dive into it today and not be behind a couple of days. So that spend a lot less time on. You can't see it because of my on this thing right here. Being more focused with the family and reading. This might sound silly, but I have a lot of different project books and barbecue books and bread baking books and stuff like that I'm going to be deep diving into this year. And we kind of talked about it. It kind of goes hand in hand with diet. And again, after our post we just saw, the lady from Walmart, I am wanting to do less buying of things, and I want to do more making of things. So, more home cooking, less eating out, things like that, healthy, live healthier, live a little bit cheaper, and, things like that, drink more water. So should be a good year. I'm excited.
Yeah, I hear you.
Hell yeah.
Travis?
Hell yeah. Big thing for me, I've already deleted them, but I'm trying to go the whole year with no social media at all. Still got Messenger just so I can text certain people, but besides that, like, no Instagram, no Facebook, no Snapchat, none of that shit. Spend more time. I want to get back into reading. Something I used to love to do, and I just don't do it anymore. So I want to start the Halo series from the very beginning.
Oh,
go through all the books.
Hey, there you go.
I absolutely love that franchise and series, and I want to really get into it and read about it. So start that. Big goal, and so I'm really trying to record some music this year. It's something I've been always saying I'm going to do, Well, finally I got the tools to do it. So really hoping I can get some type of like EP or extended play out there and see what happens of it. That's kind of a big one for me. And overall, spend more time with this dude I'm walking here and my new son, and a lot of family stuff. Get out more, hit the outdoors as soon as it warms up a lot more.
Yeah.
And those are the big ones, really. Keep hitting the gym. Try to get a little bigger. You're not fat at the same time.
You are our example there, Travis. I mean, you're the man when it comes to the workout scene. I tell you what, when you start doing your whatever they have those events where you do all that stuff, CrossFit or whatever it is, I'm waiting to see you.
I actually haven't done it in a year. Unfortunately, it's just I can't afford it. That's another big goal for this year. I'm making a career change, and so I'm really hoping that can allow me to afford to go to a CrossFit gym again. But
stuff.
Yeah, a lot of things we're really hoping next year works out for us, because
Big time.
this year, don't get me wrong, this year was amazing. Like I got to, obviously I'm a father, her family got to come, which was a blessing in itself. Really not, it's been a great year, but at the same time, it's been a very frustrating year professionally. And so really hoping next year that changes.
Well,
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens.
I've always said this, you guys, this is, we don't have the largest listenership, but we have faithful listeners, and we're very thankful for you for this year. This is, if anything else, I always look forward to this. I tell the guys all the time, I look forward to this every week. These two gentlemen have become like my brothers, and I, for one, I enjoy the time that we have together, and you know, try to discuss and BS our way through life. But thank you all for supporting us and standing behind us this year.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, thanks again. Please feel free, once this does make it on our Facebook and all our different socials, please leave a comment if you have a specific goal that you're working on this year. Please let us know what it is, and hopefully whatever it is, we all get there together. So, but until next time, be a friend, tell a friend. Your New Year's resolution should be to share every single post you see of ours. Make sure you tell every time you poop, share it at least 3 times, and go from there.
All right.
Have a great New Year's, guys. We'll talk again soon. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to the Voice of Reason podcast. Be sure to check out our other content on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok.